now, I know it's for me. Tell them that I am the boss now. Tell them that I want the gold now. This is my kingdom, this is the freedom. Nothing can stop me now. This is all that I've been fighting for. This is all that we've been fighting for. I'm on the move, nothing to prove. No one can beat me now. I was born for this moment. I want the glory. There's nothing that can stop me now. I know it's for me. I was born for this instant. I want the glory. Yes, I want the glory. Yes, I want the glory. Tell them that I am the boss now. Tell them that I want the gold now. This is my kingdom. This is the freedom. Nothing can stop me now. This is all that I've been fighting for. This is all that we've been fighting for. I'm on the move. Nothing to prove. No one can beat me now. Look at me rise like a giant. Look at me rise like a grave. I came to conquer. I want the glory. I want it all. Checkmate. This one's for the believers. Gotta know freedom's beneath us. I came for victory. I want the glory. I want it. I want it all. I was born for this moment. I want the glory. Yes, I want the glory. Yes, I want the glory. I was born for this moment. I want the glory.
I'm glad you liked the video because I love it. Dear friends, colleagues, delegates, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 60th Ordinary ISU Congress. We have 87 members here, and we appreciate the contribution of each and every one of you. Not only here, but every day as part of skating's transformation. We have new members, new president since last time we met in Lausanne last year. We welcome you all. It's great to see everybody. And we say muchas gracias, Mr. Frank Gonzalez, where are you, Frank? And all the team at the Royal Spanish Ice Sports Federation for hosting us here in Tenerife. We appreciate your excellent hospitality and your work with the ISU team to make this important event successful. Thank you, Frank. As is customary, I'll introduce the team on the podium. I know that you appreciate all of us, all of our colleagues, but please hold your applause until the last name is called. First, Vice President of Speed Skating, Mr. Tron Espelli. Second, Vice President, Figure Skating, Mr. Benoit Lavoie. Now I go to the Speed Skating Council members, starting with Suana Silpa Archa. Mr. Sergio Anasi, Mr. Stoicho Stoichev, Mr. Albert Hagelov, and Mr. Alexander Kibako. On figure skating side, we have Ms. Patricia St. Peter, Mr. Tachiro Matsumura, Ms. Susanna Rakamore, Mr. George Alec, and Ms. Maria Teresa Samaranch. Council member and the chair of the Athlete Commission, Mr. Dawi Dibri. ISU legal advisor, Mr. Michael Geisinger. ISU Chief of Finance and Operations, Mr. Jeremy Conrad-Pickles. And last but certainly not least, ISU Director General, Mr. Colin Smith. Thank you very much for your warm welcome. Also, a very special welcome to our ISU Honorary President, Mr. Jan Dijkema, and ISU Honorary members. Last year, we had the Extraordinary Congress, which was a game changer for skating's ongoing transformation. Once again, we thank you for all your support and trust. We are proud of the many of the progress that we made together. You have experienced many of them either at ISU events or here in Tenerife. You also met many of the new ISU team members with dedicated professionals at the office. We are very confident that we'll continue to make progress in our journey. They all share the same DNA. We are inspiring, supportive, and unstoppable. We are aware that logistically, some elements were not perfect, with some of you staying at different hotels. We appreciate your honest feedback and will make sure to optimize in the future. Thank you for your understanding and ongoing support. Your support for development, inspiration, and the drive to transformation benefits everyone in skating. Thank you. And I'd like to now give the floor to our Director General for the roll call.
Thank you, President. As per the voting guidelines, you all now have a tablet in front of you, which will be our voting tool throughout the Congress. If you represent both branches, you will be asked to vote consecutively on behalf of figure skating branch first and then speed skating branch second. If you represent one branch, your tablet will be configured for one vote representing that branch. Before we move to the roll call, we'll carry out a test of the equipment to check that everything is working. So please just give us a moment to prepare the test. Okay, we're good to go. So the question is the sun shining today? Tricky one to start the 3-day Congress. So for yes, select yes, submit and confirm. For no, select no, submit and confirm. For abstain, select abstention, submit and confirm. Once you confirm, you will see that your vote is registered and you will see vote valid on the screen. You have 45 seconds to cast your vote. If you have made a mistake, you can start then again and cast your correct vote, but only before you have pressed confirm. After that point, no changes can be made to your selection. If you have two branches, please remember, figure skating branch votes first, and then the speed skating branch, both within the 45 seconds. Once your vote is confirmed, it can no longer be changed. If anyone has any issues with their voting devices at any stage, please raise your hand, and we will ensure that a member of the G&B team, that's the voting company we're using, is on hand to assist you and rectify the problem. Okay, so we'll now open the vote and start the countdown. Is the sun shining today? All right, the voting is closed, but we had a couple of hands up, which is why we have tests. So we will run that again once I just get confirmation that everyone's device is working properly, and then we will ask the difficult question a second time. Okay, is everyone who had an issue has now been resolved as far as we're aware? Yes? Okay. Then we will rerun the vote. Is the sun shining today? As always, yes, submit, confirm. No, submit, confirm. Abstain, submit, confirm. Okay, the vote is now open. Okay, the vote is now closed. Just a moment to validate the results. Okay, we have a bit of a split. So 62 believe the sun is shining, 38 have not been outside yet, but the majority believe it is indeed shining. Okay, so we'll move on now to the roll call. And for this, I will ask for your present vote. So when I open the roll call, you'll again see on the screen a clock, which will count down from 45 seconds, indicating the time you have available to confirm your presence. Please choose present on your tablet within the time frame provided, and then confirm. Okay, just a moment to confirm we're ready. Okay, we're now ready to go. So please confirm your presence on the tablet. I'm opening the vote now. Okay, it's now closed. Okay, so that's been validated. And as you can see, we have a total of 99 ISU members. We have 88 present. We need 50 for a quorum. So therefore, a quorum is present. I hand the floor back to the President now for item 1C of the Congress agenda, which is the verification that this Congress has been duly convened.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. On January 9, 2026, you've been sent a formal invitation to this 60th Ordinary ISU Congress here in Tenerife, with the agenda and related documents sent on May 10, 2026. Through these communications, the Congress has been duly convened in accordance with Article 9, Paragraph 1A of our Constitution. Unless there are any comments or objections, this confirms that the Congress has been duly convened. Are there any comments? No comments? Then we confirm that the Congress has been duly convened. Thank you, friends and colleagues. I'm looking forward to our open-minded exchanges, and with that, I declare the 60th Ordinary ISU Congress officially open. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. In the last 2 years since Las Vegas, skating community has lost very special people who have made significant contribution to our sport. If you are able, we now ask you to stand for a moment of silence in their honor. Thank you, dear colleagues. I'm looking forward to a fruitful and productive Congress. Before we move on to the next agenda item, I give the floor to Mr. Smith for outlining the debating rules throughout this Congress.
Thank you, President. We have many topics to cover these days, so we count on everyone's cooperation to be to the point in our exchanges. And in view of the standing orders of Congress and the interests of efficiency, I'd like to highlight a few key debating rules. Please mention your name and which ISU member you represent before asking a question or making a statement. There should be no more than 2 statements per member per agenda item or proposal. Statements should be kept short, not exceeding 3 minutes. It's important to remain on topic. And please move to the microphones to speak. They're in both aisles at the front. Back to you, President.
We now move on to item 3A, which is the election of a secretary and 2 scrutineers to record and scrutinize the minutes. I propose Ms. Lois Long to be elected as a secretary. Does the Congress agree to this proposal? I see that as an agreement. Thank you. Accepted. I also propose Council Member Mr. Albert Hageloff and Maria Teresa Samaranch to be elected as the scrutineers. Does the Congress agree with this proposal? No objections, so proposal accepted. We now move on to item 4, the approval of the agenda, which is done by a simple majority. You have all received ISU communication number 2790 with the agenda of the 60th Ordinary ISU Congress. During the modernization of the Constitution, branch-specific voting for council members was captured. However, this was not applied in the case of TC chair and the member voting. The ISU Council and Office have received several comments from members in this regard. The Council has therefore decided to propose to the Congress an amendment to Article 17.2 to apply the same voting principle as the Council members to TC chair and member elections. To do this, the proposal is to add this as a new agenda item within item 21 if such a proposal is unanimously approved by Congress. Are there any objections to this proposal?
Jimmy Strinmeier, representing Luxembourg Figure. I think this proposal needs to be rejected. I mean, we cannot adopt or accept a proposal at the Congress itself modifying the Constitution. It's simply out of time, and it ought not to be even presented. So I kindly request to reject the proposal. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, we have a comment from Mr. Jimmy, so should we proceed with voting? We have one more comment.
Say it's only to include it.
Again, this proposal is only to add additional item on the agenda.
Karen O'Sullivan, Ireland. Before we progress, I would like a little clarification. If a member were to propose a change to the Constitution, would they be permitted to do so at this late date, or do we have to abide by the timelines of submission to the Council ISU to be included on the agenda? If the answer to that is no, we could not, then I would strongly advise, in order to comply with our ISU's good governance, the same application should be applied to this.
Okay, Mr. Eisinger, would you take the question?
What has been done here as a totally exceptional issue was to go for a unique proposal, understanding that it is a wish coming from members. And therefore, the Council set the limit extremely high and said unanimous. Now, there's one member that already objected, which means the whole effort is gone. And because the council wanted to pay tribute to this special situation. And therefore, I think we should not further debate whether other commands can also, or other proposals can also be submitted, but simply to respect Luxembourg has said no, and therefore it's gone.
Totally agree. Thank you very much, Michael, for that clarification.
Okay, thank you for your comments. And the election shall proceed in accordance with the 2025 Constitution as written.
Don't say this.
I'd like to request 2 further changes in this regard that relates to the ordering of the item. Later today, in the first part of the financial report, I'd like to propose moving item 8B to immediately before item 12. Item 8B is a review of the unaudited financial statement for the 6-month period ending June 30, 2025. Furthermore, if the circulated agenda item 22, in the circulated agenda item 22, due to be handled tomorrow, was the item on the decision of the granting of ISU honors. Given that the matter is linked to the outcome of the elections, which takes place on the 3rd day of Congress on Friday, I'd like to propose that the item is moved to follow the return of the chair of the Congress from the chair of the Elections Committee to the ISU president. Are there any comments, objections that you would like to bring before Congress? No comments? Then we confirm this Congress agenda. We now move on to item number 5. This is an approval of the minutes of the 59th Ordinary ISU Congress in Las Vegas in 2024 and the first Extraordinary Congress in Lausanne last year. Are there any comments on the minutes? No comments. Then the minutes of both Congresses are unanimously approved. We now move on to item 6, which is related to appeals as to membership. The deadline for receiving those from appeals was May 27, 2026, 2 weeks before the start of the Congress. That deadline passed without an appeal having been received, and therefore, we move on from this item. Agenda number 7 is the report of the President and Director General. Before I start, I'd like to share a video message from the IOC President, Ms. Kirsty Coventry, to all of us at this Congress.
Hello from Lausanne to our ISU family. I hope that your Congress has started off well. I have so many incredible memories from Milano Cortina Olympic Winter Games, and I'm sure all of you do too. So I wanted to say a very big congratulations for all the success that we saw across the ice rinks around Italy. The athletes were amazing. The family was amazing. And you left not just an impression on Italy, but on the world. And I cannot wait to continue to do that with you into the future. Also, congratulations on striving towards reaching Vision 2030 and all that that entails. I know that change can sometimes be difficult, but you're all doing it in a remarkable way at a remarkable pace. So keep going. We're all here to support the Olympic movement to ensure that we get stronger together. I hope that you have a successful Congress in Tenerife. Warm hugs from Lausanne. Bye.
Thank you. We have done a lot of work in the past 4 years together, so I have a very long report because a lot of you have come to us and asked for a thorough report and what has happened in the past 4 years and past 2 years. Before the Phuket Congress, I asked many of you a very simple question. What do we have to do to improve our sports further? You gave me excellent feedback, which was also very valuable. You told me we need to have more events, more contributions, more and better digital content, greater clarity in rules and decisions, and more trust in judging, and above all, more engagement between ISU and the members. I digested your input and developed my manifesto accordingly. At the 2024 Ordinary Congress in Las Vegas, we officially launched our Vision 2030, centered on Go ISU pillar. I'm sure you know this by heart. We began our ambitious and exciting journey together, journey of transformation, working hard together to turn bold ideas into concrete action. Today, I'd like to share a report on the following 3 parts: what we achieved together, what were the results, and what we want to do going forward. So what have we achieved together? I would say without hesitation, the greatest achievement that we made together is the modernization of the ISU Constitution and governing documents for the first time in 133 years. Decades of piecemeal amendments that had left the Constitution bloated, inconsistent, and increasingly difficult to navigate. For years, we spoke about reforming the Constitution. At the 2024 Congress, we decided to act, taking on the daunting task of modernizing our Constitution. It was not easy, but I'm proud of how we worked together. We formed a member consultation group to interact with the Constitution Drafting Committee. We organized 3 member conferences at World Championships, had 4 member webinars. We explained our approach, listened to your feedback, and made adjustments to move forward. We worked very hard together, and at the last year's Extraordinary Congress, we adopted the new Constitution with 92% approval. The result of the reform is a more accountable, transparent, and agile organization that gives us a stronger foundation for our future. At the same time, we enhanced our good governance framework by creating an independent integrity unit, elections committee, audit, risk, and investment committee. Now, let's talk about growth. We made big changes in event presentation and fan experiences. We elevated the way we delivered our core events to attract more fans in arena, on television, and across digital platforms. More entertainment to ensure that fans stayed engaged from start to finish. At the same time, we have placed a brighter spotlight on our stars, our athletes. Through upgraded athlete entrance and kiss and cry moments, improved graphics, and stronger storytelling tailored to geo-targeted audience around the world. We are giving our skaters the visibility and recognition they deserve. We even took the initiative to introduce LED screens to Milano Cortina 2026 at our expense. Olympic Games, as you know, are the world's biggest stage. We wanted skating to be presented at its very best, not only for our skaters and our fans, but also for potential media and commercial partners. In fact, NBC and IOC and many others spoke very highly of our initiatives. If you look at some of our world championships, the recent ones, you can clearly see the improvement. Due to budget and resource constraints, we could not upgrade all ISU events all at once. But our ambition is to apply these changes to all our core events. Let's talk about media. TV contracts remain our largest source of income, so we continue to invest on TV production. We improved TV graphics and the overall viewing experience so viewers can be immersed in the intensity of our sports. 2 years ago, our event was streamed without any commentating. Today, we have commentary across all disciplines. In figure skating, audience got an enhanced and special experience through cameras on ice. We all saw that in Milano. This was extended to drone cameras that bring us whole new perspective. During the Milano Cortina Olympics, fans enjoyed a bird's-eye view of speed skating races. And new cameras have added the excitement of our sports on TV. We work to give more clarity around decisions and build trust in judging. If you watched the short track events in Beijing 2022, you may recall that questions were raised on some judging decisions. Different interpretation arose largely because referees and the TVs were viewing incidents from different camera angles. To address this, we work closely with the TV partners to use the same cameras so that everyone, that means referees, officials, commentators, and the viewers, would watch the same action from the same camera angle. In Milano Cortina 2026, we also introduced the new level of transparency. For the first time, live footage from video review room was shown during the assessment of possible infringement. This allowed viewers at home and spectators in the venue to the same footage being reviewed by our referees. Following its success, this approach will be adopted across all ISU short track events going forward. We also launched the referee liaison system, which gives TV commentators key information about video review and penalties so they can be explained more clearly to the viewers. At the same time, referees now announce decisions in NFL style on the ice. A few months after Las Vegas Congress, we launched Short Track World Tour. Vibrant events, a unified brand, and modernized visuals, including team identities, added to the sport's dynamic appeal. The popularity of Short Track World Tour has turbocharged the sport. We started with 29 teams in the first season, and now we have 41, and we hope to have more going forward. As you requested prior to the Phuket Congress, ISU has invested heavily in digital content to better engage with our fans. Skaters have also worked very closely with us to create more stories on and off the ice. Some of the skaters/creators are here with us this week, and they will share their experience with us tomorrow. During the Olympic Winter Games, we set up the Home of Skating, a hospitality space for the skating community. And I saw many of you at the Home of Skating in Milano in February. Around 175 skaters passed through the Home of Skating, and many created content in our studio, connecting with their fans and global audience. We also upgraded ISU website and app to better engage with fans. Now, athletes are the heart and soul of our sports. And we want to do everything we can to make them shine, because they're incredible, and we appreciate the work that they do to make our sports better. And we want to help them build their profile and visibility around the world. In 2020, before I was elected, we launched ISU Figure Skating Awards to celebrate figure skating. Last season, we launched ISU Speed Skating and ISU Short Track Awards at the end of each World Championships. 2 years ago, skaters who broke world records received paper diploma, only paper diploma. Now, we honor world record breakers with world record rings and prize money. As you know, because of the nature of our sport, figure skating does not have world record. So we introduced Trailblazer on ice for pushing the boundaries of what is possible on the ice. In the last two seasons, so Trailblazer on ice. And last two seasons, we had 16 world records and 24 junior world records. Incredible. On the new ISU app, skaters can access their competition photos taken by Getty Image. These images can be used by the athletes to build their profile and connect with the fans on social media. Mr. DeVry and Mr. Evan Bates, these are the requests made by the Athletes Commission, and we delivered. Let's talk about investing in next generation of skating and skaters. We'll give you a detailed report tomorrow, but I want to briefly mention 3 key points. First, we shifted the overall focus of activities to prioritize the quality and measurable impact of our support. Second, our global reach has been remarkable. 88% of the members receive development support. Third, we organize ISU figure skating events in new territories: Azerbaijan, Georgia, and UAE for the first time. Let's watch a short video on development.
So we provide specific opportunity for them here in our Center of Excellence.
I think it's a very good learning opportunity both for judges and for skaters and coaches.
Get everyone together to brainstorm an idea and try to improve what we already have.
Being here means to me a lot, like opportunities.
It is important for me to train with skaters alongside from other countries because we can share different experiences and different thoughts.
I hope that the coaches and skaters will feel inspirational after the camp, so they will have new ideas, new practices and new friends to contact during the seasons and to have someone to help them.
We try to pass on our love for skating and like our fun on the ice.
I think camps like here makes it possible for us to connect with other coaches and other teams and other nations. Here we get the chance to ask questions, get answers, and yeah.
If you're scared of the dark, let the rundown street lights be your stars. Let them know who we are. Let them shine for you. So keep your eyes on the road and your head in the sky.
Thank you. It's very inspiring. Now, we are committed to embrace technologies for our sports and the way we collaborate. At the Las Vegas Congress, I shared how we are working with Swiss Timing to work together on AI. It's a smart vision technology that Swiss Timing is developing, and our long-term objective is to use smart vision to assist our officials in our sports. We are making progress. If you watched Milano Cortina Olympics on TV, you may have seen some of the very interesting metrics, such as height of the jump, speed of the skaters, and the duration of the time that the skaters stayed on the air. These were the suggestions that you made at the members' conference in Tokyo in 2023, and we are working on it. Technology also helps ISU operations. Going digital increase work productivity and how we interact with you. The Good Grant system and the rules changes platform are examples of these changes. We'll continue to strive to improve processes over the next couple of years. Safeguarding. Safeguarding is one of the key pillars of our vision. Athletes are the heart and soul of our sport. We must protect them for the protection of our future, our sports. We must keep skating clean, fair, safe, and sustainable. Clean sports is the foundation of trust. We have strengthened the independence and expertise of our anti-doping program by transferring ISU's anti-doping function to the International Testing Agency, ITA. ITA will be here tomorrow to tell us what they're doing on the program. But clean sports also means education, awareness, and building the right culture. So we'll continue to work with athletes, coaches, and officials, and you, to promote clean sports values so that every skater can compete with confidence, knowing that fairness and integrity are protected. Fair competition is another essential component of trust. Because of nature of our sports, the world will always be watching our scoring closely. I will address this important topic more in detail later, but the principle is clear. Our athletes must know that they are judged fairly. Our officials must be supported with the best possible tools and education. And our members, you, fans, and the stakeholders must have confidence in the integrity of our sports. At the Las Vegas Congress, we introduced a 20% increase in the C contribution to help you reinforce and implement athlete safeguarding measures. We are making good progress, and we will continue to do so. Long report. Another important part of athletes' welfare is mental well-being. Athletes need space to recover, refocus, and feel supported, especially during intense period competition. So we introduced Calm Zone at the Boston World Championship in 2025. It's a dedicated quiet space at the ISU event where skaters can breathe, reset, and prepare themselves mentally and emotionally. Last season, we introduced calm zones at various events across all disciplines, 14 events, and 50% of the participating athletes stopped by to find their calms at the calm zone. Let's watch a short clip.
We're here today in a special area, It's called the calm zone, so we have to be pretty quiet. It's an area where they can come and take a moment of calm and really relax before the competition or in between the competition. So come with us. Over here we have a table full of activities. We've got some mandala drawings where we can fill out with coloring, which is very fun to do. I can admit I do that myself. We have some stress balls over here. If we keep walking around the table, we've got some bracelet making, Lego, and even in the corner we have a chess table. But of course there's one moment that you really want to see, and that is our lovely dogs. Hello! So this has been introduced as a moment where you can share some time with these beautiful animals. And of course we have here Alison and Solius.
The last time I think they had the dogs was in Boston, and that being the Olympic qualifier, I think was probably one of the most stressful competitions for a lot of athletes. So having really, really cute puppies to come and hang out with before you compete was definitely a big stress reliever, not only for myself, but for a lot of my friends and a lot of my peers. And to have them here this time around is very, very nice. Yeah.
If you haven't, please go visit Kamjon next time you're at the competition. But our duty of care does not end when athletes leave the ice or the arena. Social media can be a powerful tool for connection and inspiration, but at the same time, it can be a source of abuse, harassment, and harm. That is why we are working with Arwen, AI-supported social media monitoring and moderation program. It allows our skaters to compete and engage with their communities with greater confidence, knowing that additional protection is in place beyond the field of play. This will also be a subject, so we will have a discussion on the social media at tomorrow's roundtable with our athletes. Okay, next page. Let's go on the environment sustainability. I don't need to say the sustainability is very important, and we'll have to do everything in order to maintain the sustainability. We will give you a more detailed report. We have hired the full-time head of athlete welfare and sustainability, Ms. Ruth Trabilion, who will give us a very detailed report on both topics tomorrow. Let's move on to the next topic. Unity. Final pillar of ISU vision. Last year, we held our first ever extraordinary Congress, attended by ISU President Ms. Kirsty Coventry, making her first appearance at an international federation meeting. It was a great honor. We enjoy a great working relationship, not only with the IOC, but with the greater Olympic movement. Just 3 months ago, we hosted a 2-day workshop with fellow Winter Olympic Federation. We shared ideas, insights, our experiences, and we explored how we can collaborate to make winter sports stronger together. Over the last 4 years, ISU has strived to keep you informed and engaged. We organized member conferences, we held multiple webinars to explain new initiatives like long-term event calendar, and collected your input. Athletes Commission also did a very good job organizing Skaters Forum to gather input and connect the council with the athletes. We recently conducted a fan survey to help shape the future of our sport. Thank you to your support. We collected 27,000 responses across 7 languages. We are still processing the data, but what I can tell you now is that 55% of the respondents were under 35 years old, and the survey provided valuable insight into the next generation of fans. They wanted more athlete-centered storytelling. We will share the full findings when ready. Let me close this session by saying that we will continue to listen to you, athletes, and the fans to improve skating whenever possible. Thank you again for your engagement, your feedback, your courage to take on the bold challenge, change, and your hard work to turn ideas into action. Let's watch a short clip summarizing some of the changes that we made together.
It's a whole new era, Tyler, and a whole new attitude.
Boards were super cool, the tunnel entrance, and then the crowd was just amazing.
This year we are the Ice Bears, as you can see.
The best thing about short track.
The speed. The look is something new, something that maybe we needed.
I love everything that they've done so far.
Welcome to the calm zone.
I'm so confident, yeah, I'm unstoppable today.
It has been an incredible international season.
Unstoppable today, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today, unstoppable today. Unstoppable today, I'm unstoppable today.
We should all be proud of what we achieved together. I wanted to tell you everything that we did together in the last 4 years, but if I did, we'll be here for another 7 days. So I'll stop here on what we did and I'll tell you more about the impact of our work. So last February, we had an incredibly successful Olympic Winter Games. Across our 3 disciplines, we had 423 athletes from 41 delegations competing in Milano. They delivered outstanding performances, 1 world record and 8 Olympic records. The Olympic skating podium was more global than ever. A record 17 countries were on the podium. This reflects the increasing depth and competitiveness of skating around the world. Milano Cortina 2026 also demonstrated the impact of our development program. Out of 423 participants, 109 of them had been supported by the ISU development program. That means roughly 80% of the delegations had at least one development-supported athlete. And these athletes delivered remarkable results. Together, they earned 8 gold, 6 silver, and 4 bronze medals. This is a powerful sign that our development is making a real difference. On social media, we concentrate our firepower on the Olympics. And our strategy paid off. During the Olympics, we had 408 million video views on our social media channels. That is 37 times higher than what we had in Beijing 2022 Olympic Winter Games. It's not 37% increase, it's 3,700% increase. Moreover, at the various brainstorming sessions, you had expressed our wish to have a docu-series just like Formula One Drive to Survive. Right before the Milano Games started, that wish became a reality. We had our first docuseries on Netflix, and we have the person, Evan Mr. Beige, who was in the docuseries sitting there representing the athletes. And that series received positive feedback. And that was our first, but certainly won't be our last docuseries. Soon after the Olympics, we had our World Championships. All of them were successful and offered sign of progress, both on and off the ice. Figure skating World Championship in Prague was incredible, with 127,000 fans watching us. It showed year-to-year growth of 27% in global audience numbers. What's more, all event tickets for the next Figure Skating World Championship in Tampere sold out just in 2 minutes last month. 2 minutes after ticket opened, they were sold out. Speed skating in Heerenveen, short track in Montreal, and synchronized skating in Strasbourg each had an incredible success, electrifying atmosphere. Thanks to our collective efforts, we succeeded in acquiring new sponsors, most notably Pelliot. But what is more important is that we have laid the groundwork. Our work has put us in a better place to attract new commercial partners. You'll hear more about it in part 3 of the next part of this presentation. Last but not least, let me share an update on our asset management. This is exciting. As you may recall, in Las Vegas, we decided to change the way we manage our saving to generate more income so we can invest more back into our sports. To that end, we appointed Cambridge Associates as our new financial consultant. In September 2024, just less than 2 years ago, we transferred US $273 million to their management. As of April 2026, that portfolio has grown to US $348 million. If you had not changed the way we managed our assets, we would have been at $288 million. That difference of $60 million would allow us to do many great things in the next 4 years. Our partner at Cambridge Associates sent a video message to walk us through our portfolio strategy.
So my name is Christoph O'Donnell, and I work for Cambridge Associates. We are a global investment firm. We are headquartered in Boston, but we have offices around the world. My title is Chief Investment Officer, and I am ultimately responsible for total portfolio performance. The way we're structured as teams at Cambridge is there's a person in my seat that runs everything and sort of sits atop the portfolio. Then we have a few individuals focused on privates, and then we have analysts and support staff. But ultimately, for better or for worse, if performance is good or bad, I'm responsible. Cambridge Associates was founded in 1971 to originally work with nonprofit institutions in the US. So our core DNA is working with nonprofit institutions such as ISU. We are a global firm. We work with nonprofit foundations globally now. That is a very important part of our original customer base and continues to be a really important part of what we do. Nonprofit institutions often have very particular needs. They typically have a portfolio that they need to spend from. It's one of their most important assets, as is the case with ISU. Oftentimes, that portfolio supports the mission. It's a key piece of the support for the mission because most nonprofits run a deficit of some kind. So we're very experienced in working with these types of institutions with portfolios like this. What do? We invest portfolios and we invest them for the long term. One of the nice things about nonprofit institutions is they tend to have very long-term goals and very long-term missions. Education is a great example, but so are sports. We want to be participating in sports. We want athletes to continue to flourish for generations. And so the mission is very long-term, and and the way we invest is very long-term. So we've taken a long-term approach with the ISU. What that means is we put a policy portfolio together, an asset allocation where we decide how much goes into stocks, how much goes into bonds, how much goes into other things. That portfolio is designed to support a level of spending into the future and also provide some level of protection if markets go down or if there's volatility in the world. So the portfolio is really designed for the benefit of ISU. Our nonprofit clients around the world have different portfolios because they have different needs. This one is tailored to ISU. Philosophy-wise, in addition to our long-term perspective, we are very focused on diversifying portfolios. So we're not just invested in the US, not just invested in Europe or in Asia, we're invested in all regions. We invest in lots of different kinds of strategies so that any one particular thing that goes right or wrong doesn't overly affect the portfolio in a positive or negative way. We're very careful about how we construct the portfolio and who we partner with. We do a lot of research on investment managers to make sure that we know them very well and that they will work well on behalf of ISU. And then in terms of thinking about markets more broad, we're focused on tactical opportunities in the market, but not overly so. The long-term orientation really means that we want to take long-term bets and let those mature and make money for us in the future. We're not trying to trade the portfolio, get out of the market if we think the market's going to go down next week and then get back in. That is not what we do. The performance has been very good to start here. We've been fortunate, so we started investing in the portfolio in September 2024. Going into 25, it was sort of okay. Then we had the tariff tantrum in April. But we had, after that recovery, really good 25. And then very good early 26 before the Iran invasion. Even then, though, with March down, we've seen a recovery in April and May. And so the portfolio has done very well in the last 18 plus months. The dollar gains through the end of May is somewhere over $80 million that we've made for ISU. I've been doing this for a long time, close to 2 decades. You never really know when strong returns are going to arrive. Put the portfolio in place and you take the good with the bad. So we've been very fortunate to be in a good market in the last 18 months. In March this year, we saw markets go down quite a bit. Our portfolio was also down something like 5%. And we also saw interest rate movements in the interest rate markets and in the commodities markets. That has continued. So oil, as you all know, remains high around the world. Interest rates have also gone up because of inflation concerns, yet stocks have recovered. And stocks have recovered because earnings in artificial intelligence stocks and in everything going on in that complex has been quite good. And so this is why we want to have a balanced approach to portfolio construction. We want exposure to some stocks that do well, and have exposure to AI. Yes, we have some energy stocks and other things that are doing well and some things that aren't doing well. And that's okay. That's the idea behind diversification. So far, the portfolio has weathered the storm well, and we're pleased with that. But we could certainly see some bumpy roads ahead. We went from an all-bond portfolio to a portfolio that was predominantly equities, but also had some bonds and sort of mix of bonds and equities. So the immediate benefits in dollar terms were up $80 million. That's a very nice number. But it's more the orientation. We are now thinking longer term and able to take longer term bets to benefit the organization over the long term. As a bond investor, you're a little more focused on when is the income coming in, when is the bond maturing. It's a much more, not short term, but more constrained investment approach where you're focused on not losing money, but also not making money. It certainly has benefited the ISU in the last 18 months, but I think really it's more about the long-term orientation of growing the sport, growing the organization, and having more resources in the future. Certainly more assets is better, gives the organization more ability to invest and do more for global skating. That's a little more in Jeremy and Colin's camp. I'll let them determine how to spend those dollars, but certainly having more in the bank is better for a healthier future for the sport. So I'm thrilled to be able to help with that.
So thanks to our predecessors, ISU has good savings in our account, and we wanted to make sure that money worked for us. That's why we changed the way we manage the assets. And so far, it's been great. Of course, the investment, any investment can go up or down, but we are very thorough and careful, and the good news is that according to our analysis, every year, for the next 4 years, every year you can invest $27 million US dollars into our sports from the investment income, while keeping our total investment, total amount of savings above 300 million. 300 million, still higher than what we started with 2 years ago. So we are very, very happy the way the investment is working out. And we'll present the budget later, but we really would like to invest heavily in our sports for the future of our sports for the next 4 years. So now, the final part of the presentation. So what do we want to do next? I propose to kick off the next Olympic cycle with 2 big changes to recognize our hardworking athletes and our hardworking and dedicated members, all of you. So first, I propose that we double our prize money for athletes. Second, I propose that we increase travel contributions because we heard you at the member conference that traveling is getting more expensive. It's getting more expensive to support our very dedicated athletes. So we are proposing, we'd like to start the next Olympic cycle with these 2 big changes. We are able to start the Olympic cycle with these 2 funding increases thanks to the great work that we have done together. But our ambitious journey does not end here. In fact, we are just getting started. This is simply our first milestone. We just proven ourselves what we are capable of as a union. But we still have a long journey to go. Remember what you told me 4 years ago. More events, more contributions, greater clarity in rules and decisions, more trust in judging, more and better digital content, and above all, deeper engagement. And I'll add one more, higher prize money for our athletes. Because everything we do, every decision we make is for our athletes. We must make our sports and events more attractive to our fans and our commercial partners. We need better TV contracts and more sponsors. Some have asked me, why do we change event structure? Why do we care about TV? No one watches TV anymore. Well, the reality is TV matters a lot. Excluding Olympic revenue, every year, broadcast rights account for 80% of our revenue. TV funds our events, our development projects, and our travel subsidies. We need more of our sports to be on free-to-air TV, back in prime time. The work we started in Las Vegas is not finished. We've just laid the foundation. It's time to step on the accelerator. We'll begin by modernizing our event structure and media commercial strategy. Now let me give the floor to our Director General for further explanation.
Thank you, President. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed hard to believe that it has been 2 years since I last spoke to you in Las Vegas. As you have seen, it has certainly been a very busy 2 years, and it's great to see you all here again in Tenerife. In order to deliver the strategic, ambitious plan of Vision 2030 and the updates that the President took you through, we have had to restructure and reinforce the capabilities of the ISU office. We had to recalibrate how ISU was functioning, how we operate how we think, and how we interact with all stakeholders you can see on the screen behind me. Only by servicing each and every stakeholder can we be successful. In order to do this, it has been necessary to go through, first and foremost, a shift in mindset, and then look to reinforce capabilities across the team in different areas. Firstly, we wanted, where feasible, to reward those team members with decades of experience in our sport, with the opportunity to grow and take on new responsibilities. We needed to bring in qualified key administrative functions that, frankly, ISU just did not have. And these are obviously very necessary in any modern organization. Key functions such as finance, HR, in-house legal, dedicated comms and PR were not part of the previous structure. We then needed to reinforce the team with the capability to service you, our key stakeholders, with positions in athlete welfare, development, commercial, marketing, broadcast, and event-related functions. We certainly appreciate your patience as we have been building this team over the last 2 years. I'm delighted to say that we now have a very strong foundation on which to build for the future. We also moved into our new headquarters, our new home of skating in Lausanne, not far from our former office, but very different in terms of its setup. It's a much more conducive space for this new mindset and for the team working there to be reminded every day what it means to be part of a modern, dynamic, global sports organization. We've also had to build our digital and data capabilities, and we've signed a strategic partnership with Deloitte to help us in this process. ISU had previously been operating often in different silos, with different accreditation systems, registration systems, databases, sometimes doing the same function, but speed skating would be different than figure, would be different from short track. So we are in a situation now where we have data for members, skaters, and other pieces of technical data that are all sitting in different pockets, not talking to each other. This is obviously not ideal for you, for our athletes, for the media, or frankly for anyone interacting with us. So we're taking control of our digital future, and we want to make sure going forward that we are purposeful in how we create and develop a new digital landscape with sufficient agility to adapt to future demands. So in the future digital ecosystem for ISU, we really need to achieve several key goals. We need to empower and improve communications with you, the members, with our athletes. We need to be able to connect with worldwide fans. And very importantly, we need to create a centralized data hub, a single source of truth across the organization. This won't happen overnight, so we will approach it in 3 phases. In 26-27, we will focus on centralizing the structure and building a unified platform for our stakeholders. 27-28, we will scale and expand its capabilities and features. And 28 onwards, we will look to integrate additional functionality. Obviously, if the opportunity arises to advance these timings, we will of course do so. We heard you in the members' conferences, loud and clear. We appreciate the honest feedback that we need to improve our communications between us and you, the members. We will therefore be launching shortly a new stakeholder portal, a one-stop shop for our key stakeholders. Firstly, it will serve as a members portal and members database containing key information enabling two-way communication, a document repository, and providing detailed analysis and analytics. That is why you have personalized QR codes on your desks today. We want to ensure that we have captured your most up-to-date contact information and have a clear understanding of who is working within your federations, their roles, their responsibilities, and their contact details. Please verify the information is correct and complete anything that's missing. The more information we have, the easier it is for us to communicate with you with targeted information as and when needed. The second phase of this portal will look at other key groups, such as athletes, as well as potentially also our technical committees and commissions. We'll keep you posted on progress, but we are looking to roll out this members portal sooner rather than later. Another important development relates to our website and app. If you recall, we previously had one website speaking with the same voice, whether it was on governance topics or fan-facing information. We launched in 24 2 separate websites and a new app in order to separate this corporate voice from our fan-related activities. This move has been incredibly successful, and we are now ready for the next phase. So for the next season, our website will be available in multiple languages. It will also feature a more dynamic interface, and it will feature new dynamic event platforms. So those of you who host events with us, instead of having to create your own websites or sub-sites, you can populate pages which sit within the main fan site, thus saving time and resources. So if we move on to calendar, as discussed with many of you individually and during the webinars, we will be introducing new calendars starting with the season 27-28 and then covering the 3 subsequent seasons, so 27-28, 28-29 and the 29-30 seasons. The idea for the future is to have longer-term visibility on our calendars. For this one, we're going 3 years, and we hope to extend that going forward. The objective is clear: to create more opportunities for our sport to shine. Many times we ask, what do we need to grow and develop our sport? We need to build the heroes in our sport, our athletes. We need to build the profiles and provide our athletes with greater exposure. It's easier to do that if we see them more often and if we see the top skaters in the world performing more often against each other in competitive environments. And that's really what we are looking to achieve through these new calendars. We also want to provide more members the opportunities to host. We see how hosting can be a real catalyst to development in a country. And so we want to provide these further opportunities to you to host. And of course, we want to improve the global appeal and value of our sport through doing so. So with the new events, we'll have an additional stop this year in the Short Track World Tour, going to Shanghai for the first time. And we'll have 2 additional Short Track World Tour stops in 27-28. 1 additional from this season, and 2 additional from what we had until now. We will also move in Canada to the Coliseum, a much larger and more modern venue, more akin to the spirit of what Short Track World Tour has become. In 27-28, we will also introduce the new model for the Grand Prix series that you're all familiar with, and the introduction of the 2 Grand Prix semi-finals. I'd like to thank all of you for your cooperation and collaboration throughout this process. We know we still have a lot of work to do together with you in order to find the best path forward. It is a big change, and we fully recognize that. We're grateful for the collaboration with you as we further develop our sporting calendars. Much of what we've been doing, the new events, the new sports presentation, the investments in our sport in general, have really been geared towards the implementation of a new commercial strategy for the next commercial cycle. Previously, our rights have been granted for decades, just renewal upon renewal of the same contracts. And yes, they have been sold with some degree of success across different markets. However, we feel now is the time for a new commercial structure model, We believe we can bring more success and greater revenue to our sport as we move forward. So we are currently carrying out an RFP process with a new and clearer offering across our media, our sponsorship, and our licensing global rights. I can't go into too much detail at the moment because we are literally in the middle of the process negotiating with different companies. But I can say that there has been a lot of interest in our rights, and we are confident we will find good solutions going forward. In terms of media rights, we are progressing with a clear objective to strike the right balance between commercial revenues, cash, and free-to-air exposure, hereby enhancing the visibility of our sports and our athletes. This map represents the properties currently sold either by ISU directly or those sold through our partner agency. But in many countries, even though our rights are placed, we are still not getting sufficient visibility. And so this is something we are very mindful of as we move forward with this RFP process. On the sponsorship strategy, we will look to roll out a second round of RFP, which will be more targeted in certain territories. And we're in discussion with different agencies in this regard, so we'll have more information in the next few months. Later today, Jeremy Conrad Pickles, our CFO, COO, will take you through the budget. And you will see from the documentation you've already received that we are forecasting strong targets. We believe these targets are achievable and realistic, but they are ambitious. And we believe that we need to be ambitious, and we should be ambitious, in order to grow our sports as they rightfully deserve. We have great sports, and we have a very large inventory of assets, which are currently remain unsold and underexploited. And we will strive to maximize these going forward to bring revenue into our sport. Of course, the timing of this revenue is also important. And as Jeremy will explain, our expenditure plans are closely linked to when those funds are secured. If we experience a delay in achieving our revenue targets, expenses and timing of such will be adapted accordingly. So we're very excited about this new commercial strategy. We're excited about working together with you, the members, to share where possible our different assets, our joint assets, in order to grow our sport commercially overall as a skating family. Thank you, and I'll now pass the floor back to the President.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I hope we all now have a much clearer understanding why we are proposing, why we want to review and revitalize our event structures. Because you wanted more, and we need more, so we can produce more revenue, so we can support more funding, more development funding, and greater events, greater content, and more for our incredible skaters. In Las Vegas, we promise you that we'll explore some new events, such as Back to Classic or Back to the Root, speed skating outdoor. Unfortunately, that dream has not been brought to life yet, but still remains our ambition, because we are ambitious. However, we do have a big announcement, great news. In 2028, for the first time in our proud 134 years of history, we'll organize ISU Combined World Championship, 4 disciplines, same period, 2 weeks in one city. And that historic event will take place in Beijing. Not very excited? Those of you who were at the 2016 Congress remember the proposal to organize combined championships. We all thought it was a brilliant idea. Well, in just 2 years, that will come to reality. And I'm thrilled I'm really excited, and I hope you are as well. And you will hear more about the plan from our Chinese colleagues, Chinese speed skating, Chinese figure skating, Mr. Wang Li and Ren Hongguo, later this afternoon. Event delivery and media production are critical to the future of our sport. But modernization cannot stop there. We must continue to evolve our core product, sports. So our sports must resonate with the younger generations, reach new audiences, and maximize the global appeal. And we started this with the short track world tour. And we are now applying the same ambition to another discipline with tremendous potential, synchronized skating. Despite the huge popularity in some countries, synchronized skating has long remained one of skating's best kept secret. One of the main reasons is structural. Synchronized skating requires 16 good skaters. This makes development difficult, especially for smaller countries. To open the door to more countries, we are introducing a new format, Synchro 9. By reducing the team size, Synchro 9 delivers clear benefits. It will be far easier for more members to build competitive teams, helping to spread synchronized skating around the world. With fewer skaters, each athlete covers more ice. This creates speed and intensity. Smaller team also provides clearer visuals, stronger storytelling, and shareable digital content. We'll have new exciting formats, including head-to-head battles. The judging will be very different. It will be streamlined around two pillars, artistry and technicality, making it easier for fans and TVs to follow. Synchro 9 is not a watered-down version of our sport. It's a purpose-built format for modern audience. Think of Rugby 7 or 3-on-3 basketball. This is kind of approach we want to explore with Synchro 9. Urban, useful, and unmistakably synchronized. At the Prague ISU World Figure Skating Championships, 16,000 people, our fans, saw the demonstration performed by Team Finland. Let's watch a short clip. So we asked the Team Finland to volunteer to have a demonstration team form just to show the world what Synchro 9 could look like. And at the Salzburg Synchronized Skating World Championship, we had 3 teams, demonstration teams from Canada, Finland, and USA to perform just to showcase what it could look like. And the full potential of Synchro 9 will be showcased this coming season, so stay tuned. It's coming soon. Synchro 9 has already been included in the 2028 Youth Olympic Games in Italy, and we are making push to join the Olympics. But let me be clear, Synchro 9 is not a replacement of Synchro 16. It's simply a dynamic expansion. The 2 formats will coexist, each with its own identity, strength, and audience. Together, they'll build a stronger future for our sports. The theme of modernization continues with speed skating. You may have read the news that the next Winter Olympics, 2030 Olympic Winter Games, which will take place in French Alps, may have speed skating events outside of France. If indeed speed skating is moved outside of France in 2030, it will be the first time any Winter Olympic discipline will be hosted outside of the host country. This concerns me, and this should concern all of us. When a host country with a rich winter sports tradition is unwilling to stage our discipline on its own territory, it's a clear warning sign. As one of the Olympic champions in speed skating said, it suggests that long track speed skating is no longer being seen as a priority in France. Is this an isolated case or a wake-up call? What we need to do is very clear. We must modernize speed skating. To protect our future, we must make our sport more appealing globally, and especially to younger generations skaters and the fans around the world. This does not mean abandoning our traditional format. They remain the heart of speed skating, but we'll create a working group to explore new format that can attract fresh audiences and skaters. One possibility is tag race. Actually, this is not entirely new. It was once an important part of our sports history and even featured at the Olympic Winter Games in Lake Placid in 1932. Today, the success of mass start shows what's possible, and we want to expand on that momentum. Let's now talk about building clearer clarity around rules and decision and strengthening trust in judging. Simplifying figure skating rules and decisions is a crucial long-term goal. Right now, our rules are so complicated, some of the recently retired figure skaters tell me that they cannot follow. We want to simplify the rules and decisions so casual fans can easily enjoy our sport. Please do not misunderstand the intention. We don't want to water down figure skating or dumb down figure skating. Our goal is to make it easier to be understood so we can attract more fans around the world. And rest assured, we will not introduce any drastic structural changes for the upcoming Olympic cycle ending in 2030. Any significant updates will be implemented for the following Olympic cycle ending in 2034. However, we plan to make the changes ready, tested, and announced by 2028, so skaters and coaches have plenty of time to understand and prepare. Another big task is upgrading the overall figure skating judging system. This means transforming how we train, select, and evaluate officials to restore absolute trust in our judging. We all want the same thing: a judging system that is robust, reliable, and trusted by everybody. One that ensures our skaters compete on a level playing ground. To achieve this, ISU has been working with a company called Maelstrom. They developed an analytical tool originally used by International Gymnastics Federations, FIG, to assess its judges' scoring. This statistical tool compares each judge's scores against the panel's median across all elements. It enables an objective evaluation of judging patterns, and the FIG applied this methodology in selecting judges for the Paris Olympics in 2024. Building on this approach, the ISU has compiled and analyzed a great deal of data from the past 3 seasons. The data allow us to assess scoring accuracy, consistency, and fairness. And it allows us to rank our officials based on the performance in a structured, evidence-based manner. Some of you ask whether we can rely on this tool. Let me assure you, the Maelstrom system is not based on judging for a single event or single skater. It tracks performance across multiple events involving many athletes and several seasons of data. And as the data set grows, the system's reliability will only increase. You'll hear more directly from Dr. Hugo Messier from Maelstrom this afternoon. To ensure complete competence, we'll also restructure the OAC. We'll probably rename it too. The new OAC will conduct additional layer of qualitative analysis. This will provide an independent cross-check of the result. So we have 2 systems, qualitative and quantitative analysis. Our objective is clear: to identify and appoint officials who are competent, objective, and consistent. Starting next season, ISU will select top-ranked officials for our core events. But we'll take a step-by-step approach, so we all get used to it. Next season, we'll only appoint officials only for the World Championships. The following season will include Grand Prix final, Grand Prix semifinals, and World Junior Championships. We'll continue to roll out across more events as time goes by. To oversee appointment process, ISU will create a nomination commission consisting of the figure skating vice president, one figure skating council member, TC chairs, and the ISU sports representatives. Officials that are not selected will continue to officiate at other events. And at the same time, we'll provide them with training tools to hone their skills so they can move up. In fact, we'll hire heads of officials for each branch. Emily Below for figure skating branch and Natalie Lambert for speed skating branch. Their main responsibility will be to help our officials to grow. Thank you. Development is one of the core missions of ISU, and that's why we hired the full-time head of development, Mr. Yi-Hwan Chang. He's led a strategic review of our program, and we will take a modern approach tailored for today's needs. In the coming years, we will focus on 3 core objectives: grassroots, elite, and foundations to build long-term structure. And we'll introduce several bold initiatives, structured approach. Mr. Chang will provide further details tomorrow. These are the new initiatives that we'll focus on for the next Olympic cycle. However, we cannot forget the work that we started a couple years ago. Those projects are not complete. We must continue to put our best efforts as long as our sports exist. Technologies will remain to play a key role in our sports. We'll continue to work closely with Swiss Timing to advance smart vision. The objective is to develop reliable systems to assist our officials across different disciplines. You will hear directly from the CEO of Swiss Timing, Mr. Alain Jobrist, later today. We're also working closely with IBING to provide an on-ice performance tracking and training support for figure skaters, coaches, and judges. IBING is here in Tenerife, so please give a try at the jump tracker. Looking ahead, athlete welfare will become an even stronger priority for ISU. I already mentioned that we recruited a full-time head of athlete welfare and sustainability. This reflects our commitment to move from individual initiatives to a more structured, coordinated, and long-term approach in providing support to our valuable and incredible athletes. In the coming years, our focus will be on strengthening support in several key areas. You can see it on the slide, and Ruth Trebellion will give a more comprehensive presentation on this very important work. So music rights is an important topic that impacts our skaters and the whole skating community. I want to reiterate that this is our top priority, and we are making progress. In fact, we are close to reaching an agreement with one of the major music labels. It's not done yet, but we are getting close, and we'll keep you posted. Our new constitution has given us a new way of thinking and working. Our newly formed elections committee has vetted candidates and is going to oversee the election procedures. On Friday, we elect the members of our first ever independent integrity unit and risk, audit, and investment committee. The newly created rules platform and system has been put to use. But I admit, the platform is far from being perfect. But we are making progress, and we are fully committed to make it better, to facilitate technical discussion in a more transparent and productive manner. Lastly, and we are getting close to the end of the presentation, so we are actively engaged with legends on our sport. If you watched last few World Championships or World Olympics, you may have seen a familiar face on the ISU Tribune, including Catalina Witt, Eric Heiden, or Tove and Dean, just to name a few. We are expanding our contacts with such legendary skaters, and will launch a virtual ISU Hall of Fame next year to grow and honor our ISU family network. Now, we covered a lot of materials, and thank you for listening to me. But these are just some of the highlights we have achieved, some of the achievements we made together in the last couple of years, and what we must continue to work on going forward. We should be really proud of what we have done together in such a short period of time. I'm extremely proud. I'm particularly proud of the courage that you've shown, the trust that you've shown. IOC President Coventry said on the video message, change can be difficult. It's natural to feel concern, hesitation, and even disagreement on certain details. When you have those moments of doubt, I ask you to remind yourself why we chose this path. We could have chosen an easy path and keep the status quo. But we wanted more. We wanted our sports to thrive for the next generations. We wanted to look back 20 years from now, look back in 20 years from now, look back in 22 Las Vegas Congress, 24 Las Vegas Congress, all this Congress, and we want to be able to say that we made the right decision and we did the right thing. That's what I want, and I'm sure that's what we all want. And that's why we agreed on our Vision 2030. And our vision is never meant to be a final destination. It was just a starting point. The work of modernizing our sports will continue as long as our sport exists. Our ultimate goal is clear: to expand our global fan base, return to free-to-air TV on prime time, secure commercial success needed to provide higher prize money and more contribution and development funding for you guys, our members. How fast we achieve our dream depends on our unity, how united we are as a union. Thank you for getting close, getting thirsty. Thank you for your resilience, your passion, and your unwavering support and your courage on this challenging and very unpredictable journey. And remember, we are only doing this for our sports and for our athletes. Let's continue to move forward together, because you know what's our DNA. We are inspiring, supportive, and we are unstoppable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President. We're going to move to a short coffee break. You'll be delighted to hear, but I just have two housekeeping items, if I may. The hot coffee break will be 30 minutes, so if I could ask you to be back at 11:40. Downstairs, we have an exhibition area where we have our Peliot, we have Aving, and we have our partner Gleiss, who's artificial ice, and we have some school kids in there as well. So please go down, take a look, but please do make it back in time to restart this session. Those of you who are voting delegates, I think you were informed already, but just a reminder, please badge out at the machines and then badge in again when you come back after the well-deserved coffee break. Enjoy. Thank you.
leg. You better come and be with all you got, 'cause I'm ready. I'm ready. Power up.
But it's a whole new era, Tyler, and a whole new attitude.
Boards were super cool, the tunnel entrance, and then the crowd was just amazing.
This year we are the Ice Bears, as you can see.
The best thing about short track.
The speed. The look is something new, something that maybe we needed.
So I hope everybody enjoyed the coffee break, and thank you for coming back on time in spite, and I know many of you probably would have liked to stay under the sun a little longer, but thank you very much for coming back on time. So the Congress continues with item number 8, which is the first part of the financial report. You'll recall that ISU has altered its financial reporting for maximum efficiency, running budget on a seasonal basis rather than on calendar years. The financial report for the year ending December 31, 2024, and I give the floor now to ISU Chief of Finance, CFO, and COO, Mr. Jeremy Conrad Pickles, for the first part of the financial report.
Thank you, Mr. President, Vice Presidents, Council members, Honorary President, ISU members, office holders, and guests. And first of all, I'm going to quickly thank our marketing team for putting this huge photo of me on the beginning of the presentation. But we can move on. We can move on. When we convened in 2024, Congress adopted ISU's Vision 2030, as you know and as we've already heard. And you've heard from the President and the Director General about everything that has been achieved over the past 2 years. 2024 was the start of a journey which we are only partway through. The budget for 2025 and 2026, as well as the updated forecasts for 2024, which you approved at Congress in 2024, were very much an initial vision of what we were intending to do, and indeed what we still intend to do. The amounts were based on preliminary estimates of what was thought possible at the time. So I'm going to start my presentation by providing a brief look back on the financial statements for the year ended 31 December 2024. These statements were audited a little over a year ago. The external audit report was signed on the 4th of July 2025 and published on the ISU website on the 11th of July 2025. So I hope that many of you have had the opportunity to have a look at the 24 report. Any amounts that I mention in respect of 2024 will be in Swiss francs. When I switch to the 2025 numbers and beyond, all numbers will be expressed in United States dollars. The net operating result for 2024 was a deficit of 8.5 million Swiss francs, some 6.1 million Swiss francs better than the updated budget approved at Congress in 2024. This difference is before the write-back of provisions. The positive variance of 6.1 million Swiss francs was a combination of an improvement of almost 1 million Swiss francs in revenues and savings of around 5 million Swiss francs of expenditure. Some of those variances relate to the Swiss franc against US dollar exchange rate, and some relate to the fact that we embarked in 2024 on an ambitious program of modernizing and developing ISU's events and channels. And much of the spending that was planned in the second half of 2024 eventually took place throughout 2025. Revenues were lower in 2024 than in 2023, mainly due to the absence of the World Team Trophy, which takes place every 2 years. There was a small increase in sponsorship revenues, a combination of exchange differences and delivering one new contract ahead of schedule. Cost savings were achieved, as I have just said, mainly from costs being deferred from the second half of 2024 into 2025. In addition to that, development expenditure is always budgeted at a maximum capacity, and it is rare that all of the expenditure is committed in any particular season. The total amount spent on development of 7.2 million Swiss francs was almost equal to the 2023 expenditure. The total amount paid to ISU members and athletes, combining event contributions, prize money and development expenditure, was 26 million Swiss francs, a little higher than in 2023. The operating deficit in 2024 of 8.5 million Swiss francs was reduced by a release of provisions amounting to 6.5 million Swiss francs. This provision release related to a long-standing legal case which was settled in 2025. For the year ended 31 December 2024, the net results of ISU's financial investments was 27.1 million Swiss francs. A significant part of this result was due on the one hand to the weakening in 2024 of the Swiss franc against the US dollar, and the valuation of ISU's bond portfolio recovering some of the losses in 2022 and 2023. On the screen, you can see that the past year's results of the ISU's financial investments, which show losses from 2022 and 2023, almost offsetting the positive result of 2024. When I move to the forward-looking section, I will talk more in detail about the ISU's revised investment portfolio. And you have already seen the video presentation from the ISU's outsourced Chief Investment Officer, Christopher O'Donnell of Cambridge Associates. For the year ended 31 December 2024, the transfer of assets from the traditional bond portfolio to the ISU's revised investment structure was only partially complete, and a significant amount of the transfers took place very close to the end of the year, in the middle of December 2024. Even in the short time between the transfer of the first assets in September 2024 and the end of the year, the new portfolio was already generating positive returns. As a result of those positive returns, the recovery in the bond valuations and a more favorable year-end dollar rate to Swiss francs, the value of the ISU portfolio stood at 272 million francs at the end of 2024, compared to 262 million Swiss francs at the end of 2023. ISU's net assets increased from 238 million Swiss francs at the end of 2023 to 263 million Swiss francs at the end of 2024. That concludes my summary of the 2024 results, and you can see on the screen the signed report from the external auditors, BDO. In line with prior years, BDO conducted its audit in accordance with Swiss legal standards and issued their opinion that the financial statements complied with Swiss law and with ISU's constitution and general regulations. BDO are following the Congress online, but chose not to attend in person. When Congress met for the first extraordinary Congress in Lausanne a little under a year ago, we explained that a tender was underway to select a new external audit firm, and the transitional rules of the 2025 ISU Constitution provided that the Council would make a proposal for validation by Congress this year. The decision to put the external audit up for tender was part of the ISU's general governance reforms. BDO had audited the ISU for almost 20 years, and good practice would be to tender the audit at least once every 2 Olympic cycles. The process to select the external auditor took place in the spring of 2025 and was overseen by the Financial Advisory Working Group, whom I would like to thank for their input and counsel. 6 firms, the so-called Big Four, plus 2 medium-sized firms were approached, including the incumbent's BDO. The working group made a recommendation to the ISU Council, and in July 2025, the ISU Council validated the choice of EY, Ernst & Young, to audit the 6 months ended 30th of June 2025, and for the subsequent 3 financial years to end 30th of June 2026, 2027, and 2028. The ISU Council puts this proposal to Congress, and we shall proceed to 2 separate votes, one for the choice of auditor for the 6 months from the 1st of January 2025 to the 30th of June 2025, and the other from the 1st of July to the 30th of June for each of the 3 years ended 2026, 2027, and 2028. In order to follow standard audit firm compliance rules, the change of auditor needs to be published on the Swiss Commercial Register prior to the auditors signing off their audit report. Publication on the register can only take place following this Congress's validation of the choice of external auditor. And it is for this reason that the financial statements for the 6 months ended 30th of June 2025 do not yet include a signed audit report. With that, I'll hand the chair back to the President for the Congress's approval of the 2024 financial statements and the discharge of the ISU President and the ISU Council for the year ended 31 December 2024, as well as the appointment of the external auditors.
Thank you very much for the thorough report, Mr. Conrad Pickles. I'd like to put on record many thanks to the commitment of everyone involved in strengthening the ISU's financial position. Your work gives us the opportunity to develop and innovate our sports for the benefit of all of us in skating. We shall now be moving on to the approval of the financial statement for the year ending December 31, 2024. Are there any questions from the floor? We have no questions. So can the Congress affirm by means of acclamation the approval of the financial statement for the year ending December 31, 2024? Thank you very much for your support and trust. The second section of the item 9 is for the Congress to confirm the discharge of the ISU President and ISU Council. Once again, I'd like to thank the commitment, diligence, and dedication of the ISU Council members and for their exceptional work over the past 4 years in skating's transformation. Are there any comments or questions? I see no hands, so can we ask the Congress to affirm this measure also by acclamation? Thank you for your confidence. Those affirmations bring item 9 to a conclusion. Now we move on to item 10, which is appointment based on the recommendation of the ISU Council of Ernst & Young SA Lausanne as external auditor for the 6-month period ending on June 30th, 2025. Are there any comments? No comments, no questions. So we ask Congress again for approval of the appointment of Ernst & Young SA Lausanne by acclamation. Thank you very much for your confirmation. Next, we advance to item number 11. This is the appointment upon recommendation of the ISU Council of Ernst & Young SA Lausanne as external auditors for the finance of the 3 financial years ending in June 30, 2026, June 30, 2027, and June 30, 2028, 3 seasons. Are there any comments or questions? No questions. So may I ask you again to confirm your approval via acclamation? Thank you for your confirmation. We look forward to working with Ernst & Young over the course of the 3-year period. As we have agreed at the approval of the agenda, we now return to item 8B, which clearly discussed the 6-month budget to the end of the period June 30th, 2025. For that, I hand back to our CFO, COO, Mr. Jeremy Conrad-Pickles.
Thank you to everybody for your approval of the 2024 financial report and for confirming the appointment of Ernst & Young as auditors. My team have already spent a lot of time working with Ernst & Young over the past 6 to 9 months, and I look forward to publishing the audited statements for the 6 months ended June 30, 2025 in the coming weeks. When Congress met in 2024, aside from the overhaul of the ISU's Constitution and Governance Framework, Congress was informed of 3 other major changes to the financial governance regime. These changes were outlined in detail in my written report to Congress, but I shall quickly recap them for your benefit. The first change is a change to the ISU's functional currency from Swiss francs to US dollars. What this means in practice is that the ISU's ledgers are now kept in US dollars, and the ISU's financial statements, as well as any budgets and other reports, are presented in US dollars. The reason for this change is relatively straightforward. First, the ISU's investments are and always have been largely US dollar based, and therefore reporting in US dollars gives a more stable and accurate picture of the ISU's assets at any time. Secondly, our revenues are based for the most part in US dollars, and therefore a switch to the US dollar functional currency removes exchange risk from the revenue line. In addition to the ISU's revenues, a significant part of our costs are also in US dollars. And as long as the US dollar remains a dominant currency for global business, many of our major supplies will be denominated in US dollars. In effect, this change has switched the currency risk from almost 100% of ISU's revenues and 85% of ISU's cost base to only 15% of ISU's cost base. The second major change relates to our financial year end, which has been changed to the 30th of June. The reason for this was explained at the 2024 Congress, and as a reminder, this allows the ISU, with effect from the 1st of July 2025, to present to its members financial statements which reflect full sporting seasons instead of statements including the second half of one season and the first half of the next season. It also aligns ISU's financial years with its commercial arrangements. It is customary for winter sports organisations to close their books in the middle of each calendar year. The Council took the decision to have a shortened 6-month accounting period from the 1st of January 2025 to the 30th of June 2025, rather than the other option, which would have been to extend the period for 18 months from the 1st of January 25 to the 30th of June 26. The reason for this was to provide us with, as quickly as possible, with a clear 12-month season-based financial year, especially since the 2025-2026 year was an Olympic season. The third important change, which we have implemented, is a change to the basis of preparation for the ISU's financial statements. In the past, our financial reporting has been based solely on Swiss legal provisions. The Swiss framework, called Swiss GAAP RPC, was fully updated almost 20 years ago in order to bring Swiss financial reporting closer to international standards. The Good Governance Framework, monitored across all Olympic winter and summer federations, recognises the improved nature of such reporting, even if it doesn't have the same rigor and therefore cost burden of full international financial reporting standards. The key change that you will see following this implementation is that Olympic revenues are fully recognised in the year of the Olympic Games and not spread evenly over a 4-year period. The downside of this is it does cause lumpiness on a year-to-year basis, but it is in line with the principle of recognising revenues when an event has taken place. In addition to these changes, the ISU also introduced on the 1st of January 2025 a new accounting ERP system to provide us with a modern financial planning and reporting structure, which will be especially important as we develop our event model. The combination of all these changes, coupled with a number of changes in personnel, has provided, as you'd imagine, some challenges over the past 18 months. Returning to Congress 2024, the budgets presented for 2025 and 2026 were formally approved on a calendar year basis and in Swiss francs, following the Swiss legal accounting basis for preparation. The numbers that I'm going to present you for the first half of 2025, for the 2025-2026 season, and the 2026-7 and 2027-8 season will all be presented in US dollars, and Olympic revenues have been adjusted in accordance with Swiss GAAP RPC. So, before we move to the forecast and budgets, I want to return to the subject of our investments. Following the approval of a more diversified approach by Congress in 2024, the ISU Council appointed an outsourced Chief Investment Officer in July 2024, as you've heard. This appointment followed a thorough and detailed tender process carried out by a working group made up of ISU Council members, the ISU Legal Advisor, the past ISU Treasurer, and 2 highly qualified external advisors, Margaret Blunden and Warren Naftal, who I'm pleased to see are both with us today, and have both offered to sit on the first ISU Audit, Risk and Investment Committee, another financial governance improvement taking effect this week. Following the Council's decision to appoint Cambridge Associates and the adoption of the new investment policy, the ISU sold in tranches its old portfolio of bonds, and funds were transferred to a new custody account at UBS Switzerland, from where they were invested by Cambridge into the diversified portfolio which the ISU now holds. You heard earlier on from Christopher O'Donnell, the Chief Investment Officer at Cambridge Associates. When the final tranche was transferred to the new portfolio, a total of $273 million have been placed under management of the new investment advisor. By the end of June 2025, that amount had grown by $26 million to $299 million. And by the end of December 2025, total growth was $58 million, leaving the portfolio valid at $332 million. As Christoph mentioned, that growth has continued into 2026 in spite of world events. Whilst we will always act with due prudence in setting budgets, the additional growth of the ISU portfolio does allow us to be more ambitious in our goals for the organisation. The benchline minimum portfolio amount has been set at $300 million, and the proposal is based on spending in a way that is linked to that amount. As mentioned in the short interview which preceded, the portfolio is designed to fund ISU's operations to an amount at the moment of about $25 million per annum. This immediately allows us to plan to significantly increase prize money, as you've heard, and to envisage greater contributions to our members to help them attend events or develop the sport. It also allows us to continue the journey we have embarked upon to transform our sport and make it ready for the next 2 to 3 Olympic cycles and beyond. So, as has already been mentioned by the President and the Director General, the landscape has completely transformed over recent years. The ISU needs to catch up to stay relevant, but also to continue to generate significant revenues from its events. For the 6 months ended 30th of June 2025, the income statement shows an operating deficit of $5 million, and the net return on our investments is $31.7 million, giving a net result of $26.7 million. As I previously mentioned, the audit was carried out in December, but formal sign-off will only follow finalisation of due process at the Swiss Commercial Registry. The 6-month accounts will therefore be formally adopted at the Congress in 2028. When looked at over an 18-month period from the 1st of January 2024 to the 30th of June 2025, compared to the budgets approved by Congress in 24, we have saved almost $8 million of costs compared to budget. A significant part of that saving is a deferral of projects and their related costs into future years. And based on the current forecast for season 2025-2026, the net saving for the 2.5-year period to the end of June 30th, 2026, compared to the 2024 budget, reduces to about $1.2 million. The actual operating deficit, excluding exceptional items, was $25 million compared to a budgeted operating deficit of $35.9 million. This is an improvement of $10.9 million over the 18 months. In addition to this improvement in the operating result, the 18-month investment and financial result was $62.2 million compared to the $8.7 million budgeted back in 2024. So in pure net reserves at the end of 2025, ISU is some $70.9 million ahead of where we had originally planned to be. And this is before the investment growth that we've had in the past 11 months. So, this improvement, combined with the future expectations of the portfolio, has put us in a position to make some aggressive budgetary plans for the next 2 seasons. Over the next 2 seasons, the budget envisages an increase in total costs of 26%, whilst our like-for-like revenue grows more slowly in 2026-2027 and then accelerates in 2027-2028, following, as you heard earlier, the RFP process that's ongoing. As a result, the operating deficit grows significantly in 2026-2027 before reducing in 2027-28 and 28-29. The cash flow funding of the deficit will be covered by the Olympic revenues from 2026 and the returns from the ISU investment portfolio. The growth in revenues will initially be driven by the ongoing tender process for media and sponsorship rights, with most of ISU's contracts falling due for renewal in the next 18 months. Over time, the clear goal is also to drive increased event revenues by additional events and enhanced event delivery, but these have been prudently budgeted for the next 2 years and are not expected to make contributions of more than 10% of total revenues. On the cost side, the budget targets 4 main areas of focus. Firstly, athletes, more than doubling the prize money on the one hand and channeling extra resources to athlete health, safety and general well-being through our recently created Athlete Welfare Department. By 2028, prize money will be 15% of ISU's total cost, up from 12% 2 years ago. The second item is you, the members. We're going to add significant increases to travel and other support, as the President has already set out. Thirdly, product or fans. We want to enhance our offering in venue for live broadcast audiences through our social media channels in order to drive engagement from our fan base and attract new fans. And finally, unity. We have budgeted to build on the governance reforms which were undertaken at the Extraordinary Congress last year, investing in the newly formed Integrity Unit or adding structure and new technology to key areas of scoring and judging in order to continue to build trust in our sport. None of these initiatives can be undertaken without a solid structure and top-level personnel behind the scenes, and the additional personnel cost has been allocated into these sections. Personnel costs as a percentage of total costs remain stable at 16%. The cost increases also include the investments that we will be making in technology, as you heard from the Director General, working with partners such as Deloitte or Swiss Timing to deliver state-of-the-art tools to run our sport. Some of these costs are included in operating costs, others will be capital items, which with the depreciation already budgeted and included in the operating result. The net deficit over the 3 seasons from 2025-6 to 2027-28 will be funded by the 2026 Olympic revenues, as I said, as well as the cash from the portfolio. It should also be kept in mind that the revenue from the investments shown in the budgeted income statement does not necessarily reflect the cash available from the portfolio in any given year. It is not expected that the new event model will meet its full potential revenues until after the current Olympic cycle ending in 2020-30. And it is from then, in season 2020-30-31, that we expect some of those revenues to start flowing through. For that reason, the outlook for 2028-29 and 29-30 still shows a significant combined net operating deficit, which will be funded by the investment portfolio. The risk element in the budgets presented for the next 2 seasons relate mainly to the increase in media and sponsorship revenues, as well as the potential investment returns. Insofar as the investment returns are concerned, the funding capacity of the portfolio has been based on the lowest case scenario of 6% returns, when currently the portfolio is returning in excess of 10% more than that. The risks related to the revenue growth will be mitigated by careful management of the additional costs being made to the ISU's total operating expenses. The prize money increase and the increased travel contributions are already considered to be locked into the budgets for the next 2 seasons, but the other costs, which are variable, will be closely followed and based on our spending criteria. Following the elections on Friday and the creation of the ISU's first Audit, Risk and Investment Committee, there will be additional budgetary oversight by a committee independent of the Council and the ISU management going forward. The budget we are proposing is a budget for our athletes, for you the members, and for our sport. It is a budget that is based on prudent and realistic assumptions about the ISU's potential portfolio returns, and we are of course conscious that especially in an uncertain global context, there are associated risks and the returns are not guaranteed. But I commend this budget to you as a cornerstone to take our sport forward over the next 2 Olympic cycles. Thank you for your attention. We will now pass to the vote, and I'll hand back to the President for questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the thorough presentation of the financial report, as well as the outlook for the future up to 29-30. Do we have any questions?
Miki Hirai on behalf of the Japan Skating Federation. Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished members of the Council and Congress. Japan wishes to start with actually an apology. We acknowledge that as the financial statements on page 10 and 44 says, The continued weakening of the Japanese yen has a negative impact on the ISU's sponsorship revenues from Japan. We regret that our contributions to the ISU's commercial performance has been reduced by circumstances beyond any of our control. This situation begs a question of how we, as ISU, may diversify our revenue stream as we pursue ambitious reforms. We believe ISU should continue to diversify its commercial partnership across geographies and disciplines. We applaud the investment strategy for the portfolio generating returns of 10 to 17% annually that is enabling the Vision 2030. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to the working group and, of course, the Cambridge Associates. We understand the transformation is costly, and we support this investment. However, we note that on page 13 of the financial report states, and I quote, "A commercial tender process is currently underway to lock in the expected revenue growth. Should the results of those tenders be below the estimates provided in the 2025 report, budgets will be reduced accordingly. Event hosting costs are rising, and hosting federations are already under pressure. In the commercial revenue, if the commercial revenues underperform, or if the portfolio underdelivers the 6.5% threshold of returns, what would that mean to the hosting countries is my question. What budgets will be reduced in what order? Also, budgets and revenues are to be shared between the ISU and the host, but since most of the hosting federations rely only on ticket sales to finance development, in our case, to all three disciplines, we require more clarity onto what extent the sharing will be. We welcome the transformation and ISU's commitment to consistent quality of our events, and Japan would like to go on record in full support of this. But also, I would like to inform all members that we cannot neglect the current local fans as we try to discover new fans. At the Grand Prix final in Nagoya last year, we had lights and exciting music during the 6-minute warm-up, and we thought it would work. The organizing committee received so many complaints from the fans, Japanese fans, who paid money, and they said they come to see their favorite skaters for as long as they can on the ice. They want to live that 6 minutes and of tension, thrill, and then see the performance rather than have lights in their eyes. I'm not criticizing. We recognize that the famous Japanese fandom is unique. They're very unique. But let us give them the return on their investment that they deserve. And it is a learning curve. We tried it. All we ask is that we strike a right balance. And I mention this because it really has serious financial consequences for all of us. Again, we would like to appreciate clarity and certainty in financial matters. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much for your comment and questions. First, I'd like to say for the record that we, the ISU, and the whole skating community appreciate the contribution that JSF and Japanese fans and the Japanese commercial partners are making to the sport of skating. And we want to continue to strengthen the relationship with not only with the Japanese Federation, but also the Japanese other stakeholders, including the Japanese fans. On your second question regarding the commercial tender, if things, we have explained to you that what we presented to you is what we think is a reasonable outlook. And of course, anything can go wrong, or anything can go better than what we anticipate or plan. And we'll adjust our plan accordingly, depending on where we are with the new commercial contracts. But what I can emphasize, and what I will emphasize, is that we will not transfer any burden on the members, organizers solely, in case of not meeting the expectation on the commercial success. We are in this together. So this is related to your third point. What we want to do going forward is that we work more closely with the members, organizers, how we can work better as a team to grow the pie. So there's more going around for each and every one of us. That's the basic underlying philosophy of this reform. As I said at the earlier presentation, we do appreciate the members and we do appreciate the organizers, and we want to be successful, more successful together by working together, because we have different skills, different things to bring to the table. Final point, we will not alienate existing fans. And I want to be clear that what we are trying to do is service the existing fans. We appreciate them very much. On top of that, we want to increase more and younger generations of fans, so we'll have stronger fan base throughout the years, 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. That's the intention. You mentioned about the learning curve. That's a great point. We tried a different approach, event presentation, and we learned a lot. We learned that different things work better in different markets. So we are keeping the notes, and we will have a geography-specific approach while upgrading the overall service to everybody involved in skating. So I hope I answered your question. And is that enough? Thank you. So again, I want to iterate. We just want ISU, the whole skating community, to be more successful. We want to grow the fan base. We want to be more financially successful so we can provide more support to the members, more development programs, and more to the athletes. Thank you, and I hope this answers your question. Joe?
Morit. It's very short. Joe Morissette from Canada Speed. Thank you, Jeremy, and to the ISU Council for that financial report. I have a few questions regarding currency risk management. So the written report and the verbal report reference gains and losses connected to currency fluctuations and the recent move of the ISU from Swiss francs to US dollars. Given that many member federations operate in currencies other than US dollars, and given the importance of the euro, at least from a speed skating perspective, within the broader ISU financial environment, does the ISU have a long-term currency hedging strategy, particularly with respect to exposure to euro and other currencies? And if such a strategy exists, can you share us at least the principles of that hedging philosophy? And if not, is this something that the ISU and the new Audit and Risk Management Committee is considering?
Can we put them
Jeremy, please.
Yep. Clearly, any organisation should have a currency risk management strategy. That goes without saying. I'm not sure the ISU had one in the past. The best currency risk management strategy that I've always thought about is to match your currencies. So if you take your specific question with respect to the euros, we do have a small portion of revenues in euros, and we do have some costs in euros. And obviously our goal is to keep those as best matched as possible. Going forward, because we have because we've now switched the currency into US dollars, the main risk that I need to manage is the Swiss franc to US dollar exchange rate, because obviously I do still have our personnel and our office in Lausanne, so I have to pay Swiss francs. I have zero revenues. We have zero revenues in Swiss francs. What we've done in the past 2 years is we've used the bond portfolio, which did have some Swiss franc bonds in it, and as we sold it to transfer to the new investment strategy, we kept back Swiss francs from that portfolio in order to fund our Swiss franc obligations. What we will be doing going forward is effectively to hedge those Swiss francs against the US dollar. Again, always looking for a natural hedge, as they say, for those who follow these things. We've sold our office, the old office. It's not 100% completed. There's a little bit of work that needs doing. That will generate in excess of 6 million Swiss francs. The question will then be, and we've had these initial discussions with Cambridge already, Is the best thing to transfer that across to Cambridge to invest immediately, to grow, we hope at 10, 15%, or to keep it back as a natural hedge against the exchange risk? Probably the former, but that's one thing that we've got in our pocket. But clearly, Warren, who's at the back of the hall, knows a lot more about this subject than I do, and I'm sure he'll be there to give us all the advice that we need going forward.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much for a very thoughtful question, Mr. Morissette. I also want to point out, in addition to the answer that Jeremy gave, is that we are creating the risk audit and investment committee, which will be formed on Friday. They will be our thought partner, extra set of eyes on the different types of risks. So we are looking at many different scenarios and contingencies.
Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Gios?
Andrea Giossi, Italian Night Sport Federation. Watching the presentation of the budget, it is clear that our organization is surviving because of the capital gains and the interest on the money we put apart in the past. So more or less, we are like a company that is surviving not because of are selling a good product, but because we have the money put in the bank in the past. And this is, for me, a very important topic, because a correct organization should survive because our product is good and it's rich enough to contribute to cover all the costs. But the problem is that in the future, what I see is that we have been speaking about the contribution to the others, great, travel contribution, great, but we have to start thinking about the contribution we give to the organizer of the competition, because one of the biggest problems we are suffering as federation is that when we organize an event, we lose money. We lose a lot of money, and every year we lose more money, and it's always more difficult to organize events. And this is a problem, because if we can organize events, we can have a product that is shown and is a valid value to get money. So I think that we have to think something about that, because this situation is critical, and our federation don't have the strength, the economic strength to lose money every year to organize event for ISU that is not able to give a good value to the products.
Thank you, Mr. Gios. So you have two parts. First, regarding the cost exceeding the revenue. We knew from the very beginning, and I said it in Las Vegas 2024, we are fortunate that we had $270 million in reserve, which would enable us to invest in sports. So I said it in Vegas that for the coming 6 years, up to 2029, 2030 season, we would use the investment income from the assets that we have back into sports, so we can reach profitability on our own the sports activities by the 29-30 season. So that was the intention from the beginning when we launched the ISU Vision 2030. And we will do our best to invest in our sports in a right way so that ISU as an organization would reach profitability without the financial gains from the investment by the end of the next Olympic cycle. Second question, organizer losing money, that's something that we don't want to see anymore. That was the underlying philosophy behind the new event hosting model. That yes, we understand that some events attract a lot more spectators and thereby generate revenue, profit. Others don't. We want to upgrade all our events so nobody loses money. That's the whole intention behind the new event hosting model. And the investment that we want to put into our sports, intention is that they will generate more fans to come and watch our events. That will create more, invite more TV rights holders contracts and more commercial partners. So again, we want to create the pie for the whole ISU community so that everybody in our ecosystem will benefit. That's the intention, and that's the plan that we want to move ahead. And again, I appreciate, and not only on behalf of the ISU and I appreciate the great work that's being done for the event hosts, and we really appreciate the organizing. And I understand how much work it takes to organize a good event, so I appreciate all the work that's been put in by the organizers and our members, and we'll make sure that we don't have to have this discussion about losing money in the near future. Thank you. Okay, it seems like we have some questions on our financial strategy or the outlook. Should we go to vote, or should we do it by acclamation? Okay, we go for vote. Okay, let's go to vote then.
Okay, voting delegates, some of you I think have switched off your iPads. If you could wake them up again, please. And I'll give you a couple of minutes to do so before we proceed to the vote. And just a reminder, if you have two branches, the figure skating branch votes first, followed by the speed skating branch. Can anyone raise their hands if their tablet has irrevocably gone to sleep? No? So I think we're all good. Just give a moment to get the sign that we're ready to go. Okay, so we're going to open the vote. The question is, do you approve the budgets for the years ended June 30, 27 and 28, and of the updated forecast for the year ended June 30, 2026? For yes, select yes, submit and confirm. For no, select no, submit and confirm. You also have the option to abstain. So I will now open the vote. Thank you. The vote is now closed. Just wait to validate the results. Okay, the votes are now in. We had 114 valid votes, 112 yes, 2 no, and so the budget years ended 30 June 27, 28, and the updated forecast June 26 is approved. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support and trust. And the item is considered approved by the Congress related to the updated forecast for the ongoing year ending June 30th and the budget for the next 2 years ahead. Thank you very much for your support. So we had a very packed schedule in the morning, a lot of information to digest. I know you are very tired and hungry maybe, so maybe it's a good time that we take a break, lunch break. But we have a very exciting sessions in the afternoon. We have a couple speakers, including Swiss Timing, who will be speaking about the AI, the smart vision. We have Maelstrom, who will talk about the analytical tool that I mentioned to you. We have presentation from China about 2028 combined championship. So please do come back for the afternoon session because it will be exciting. Thank you. And yeah, what time should we be back? 2:30. So we'll come back for lunch at 2:30. That's 2:30. So please enjoy your lunch and see you back in little less than 2 hours.